This gentleman has two parents that were Holocaust survivors. And as you know, at this time, we're watching alligator Auschwitz, basically, in Florida. Boo. Shame. Yeah, so we want to make sure that we give him a warm welcome. He's going to give you a little bit of his story today. Give it up for Alex.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's an honor to be here among great speakers that we've had today, among so many people from 5051 and other organizations here, the unions, the Writers Guild. It's really something special. We're gathered here, as you know, on the 5th anniversary of the passing of a titan, a beacon of courage, a man who really embodied the very best of what this nation can and should be, John Lewis. I'm here speaking today on behalf of all the politicians who should be here and of all the immigrants who can't be here. It's an honor, it's a privilege, it's an obligation.
Thank you!
I grew up in the Midwest in the 1960s, and even as a white male, I was keenly aware of the struggles facing people of color, at least as aware as a white man can be. I was confused that such struggles were going on in a nation that prides itself on values like freedom, liberty, justice for all. I struggled to reconcile the values I was taught with the values I saw practiced. It was 1965 that I recalled hearing about the peaceful march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. At that time, I did not know who John Lewis was or that he had anything to do with that march, but I knew that people of color had to fight for their voting rights, for their freedoms. It was many years later, while volunteering with the Obama healthcare policy team, that I learned about John Lewis from Obama staffers. What I learned drove me to learn more about this incredible man, John Lewis, who put himself on the line many times and was arrested many times in the fight for the rights that all Americans should have. Rights? Yes. Rights that are promised to all Americans, including the right to vote. Admittedly, I've had the luxury of not being very politically active for most of my life. I, like so many others, took for granted the privilege of freedom that I had. I even arrogantly assumed that America had largely gotten to the point where everyone enjoyed the freedoms that I had come to take for granted. That was until I, a white male, became the victim of workplace discrimination thanks to the doctrine of employment at will, a doctrine that does not exist in most of the civilized world. And my awakening to this country's reality began. Then came Trump. Just as he unveiled the worst of management practices in America to the world on The Apprentice, Trump's entry into politics has unleashed the worst of how people treat each other in America. Sadly, Trump has succeeded in pitting American against American, in pitting groups of Americans against each other, and pitting soldiers against civilians, pitting ICE against innocent immigrants. To me, as the only child of two concentration camp survivors, Trump is creating an America that is all too reminiscent of what my family endured in Europe during the 1930s. The scapegoating of minorities, the slow evolution toward ethnic cleansing and genocide. The leaders, the countries, and the minorities involved are different, but assuredly the horrific and inhumane results are the very same. We are living in a time that echoes the very struggles that John Lewis dedicated his life to combating. Good trouble lives on. Tens of thousands across the country are again protesting the actions of the Trump administration today. marking the anniversary of John Lewis's death and responding to Trump's attacks on civil and human rights. As I said earlier, I'm part of 5051, a national movement of everyday Americans standing up for democracy against the authoritarian actions of the Trump administration. As a part of 5051, I am committed to the nonviolent resistance, inclusivity, and conflict resolution that was championed by John Lewis. John Lewis understood that power lies with the people. He knew that voting is the most powerful nonviolent tool we have in a democracy. And then here we are. John Lewis encouraged all of us to make good trouble through civic participation. This year marks the 60th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act. This is an act that still hasn't been fully realized. It's been challenged by the Shelby versus Holder decision in 2013 that weakened protections against voter suppression, creating barriers for voters of color, low-income voters, and people with disabilities. It is in this context that we find ourselves today, facing challenges that demand our engagement, our courage, and our commitment. We cannot stand idly by while the rights for which John Lewis fought so hard are threatened. We are undeniably in the midst of bad trouble. John Lewis taught us that the only antidote for bad trouble is good trouble. We cannot let one man in Washington, one 34-time felon, and a handful of his cronies divide us and create mistrust among us. We must unite and rise up to defend, perhaps more accurately recover, our country and our Constitution. We must embrace, cultivate, nurture, and preserve the diversity that made this country great. No matter how you voted last November, we are all in this together now. And it is only together that we will come out of the cruelty and turmoil that all too many face today to one day become the nation that was the vision of John Lewis. So let us honor John Lewis, not just with our words, but with our actions. Let us continue his legacy by getting into good trouble, necessary trouble, and helping to redeem the soul of America. I will not be silenced because when we fight, we win. That's good trouble.